Have you ever felt that your life is at a pivotal moment, that something is shifting, something greater is unfolding, and yet you can't quite see it? The Creator, in His infinite wisdom, often brings us to such moments when the journey we've been on is nearing its end, and a new chapter is about to begin. It's a season of transition, a divine culmination of everything that has led us here. If you are feeling the weight of this, the stirring within your spirit, then know this: the Creator is speaking to you, and your journey is coming to an end. At least, the journey you once knew. Why is this significant? Why does it matter? As we walk through life, we sometimes get so caught up in the details, the struggles, the choices, the everyday tasks, that we forget to pause and listen. But what if I told you that God is preparing you for something greater? What if I told you that just as He spoke to the great leaders of the Bible, He is speaking to you right now? Do you hear His call? Look at the story of Abraham. God told him, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." Genesis 12:1. Abraham's journey didn't make sense to him at the time. He was comfortable, settled. Yet, God had a purpose for him that far exceeded anything he could comprehend in the moment. God was leading him to an end of one chapter and the beginning of another, one filled with promise and transformation. Similarly, your life is at a crossroads. The Creator is announcing the end of your current journey, but this is not a moment of despair. It is a call to something far greater. What if you've been running from this call, as Jonah did? Remember, God told Jonah to go to Nineveh and deliver a message of repentance. But Jonah, overwhelmed by fear and doubt, tried to flee. He thought he could escape the call, but God had a plan far greater than Jonah's fear. Jonah's journey ended in the belly of a great fish, but God was not done with him yet. He brought Jonah back to fulfill His will. Sometimes we too resist God's call, not realizing that we cannot outrun our destiny. When the Creator announces that your journey is ending, it's not a suggestion. It's a divine directive to step into the new purpose He has for you. Can you feel the tug of this truth in your heart? And then there's Moses. When God called Moses from the burning bush, he was hesitant, filled with self-doubt. He questioned his worthiness and ability to lead the Israelites out of slavery. But God, in His mercy and wisdom, reassured Moses, telling him, "I will be with you." Exodus 3:12. God did not call Moses because of his own strength, but because He had a plan to use Moses in a mighty way. Your journey too, dear chosen one, is not about what you can do alone, but about what God will do through you. The Creator is now announcing that your current journey, the one that has shaped you and refined you, is drawing to a close. But this is not an ending in the traditional sense. It's a doorway opening to new possibilities. The trials you've faced, the lessons you've learned, the struggles you've endured, they have all been preparing you for what's to come. Can you see it? Are you ready to embrace it? It's easy to feel uncertain when faced with the unknown. But when God speaks, there is power in His words. When He declares that a chapter in your life is closing, He's not leaving you in the dark. No, He's lighting the path ahead. Will you trust Him? Will you step forward in faith, just as Abraham, Jonah, and Moses did, even when they couldn't see the whole picture? God is calling you now, chosen one, to trust Him in this moment of transition. He has something great in store for you, something beyond your wildest dreams. Will you answer the call? Will you step into the future that He's prepared for you? Your journey is coming to an end, but what awaits you on the other side is unimaginable. It is a journey of fulfillment, purpose, and divine destiny. You are on the brink of transformation, and God is inviting you to take that first step. The question is, will you? Will you answer His call and embrace the new beginning that is waiting for you? Your story is about to take a turn. Are you ready to see where it leads? Chosen ones, the Creator announces, your journey is coming to an end. Are you standing at a crossroads in your life, feeling the weight of uncertainty, or sensing that something is shifting, but unsure of what lies ahead? Have you ever considered stepping away from everything you know, leaving behind the comfort of the familiar, and following the path that the Creator has set for you? Have you ever pondered a life that transcends your current existence? You are on the verge of something magnificent, ready to break free from the limitations and patterns that have bound you for so long. This journey, though uncertain, promises something extraordinary, a profound inner transformation. As you walk this path, your perspective on life, your beliefs, your values, and your attitudes will evolve in ways you never imagined. You will notice an awakening in your consciousness, an expanded awareness that allows you to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be, through eyes of clarity, understanding, and spiritual insight. This shift brings with it true peace, joy, and unconditional love, the hallmarks of spiritual ascension. But here's the truth. Not everyone will walk this path with you. As you begin your journey, you may find that some people in your life are not ready to join you in this transformation. It can be incredibly difficult to detach from those who no longer resonate with the higher calling that you are answering. Yet, it is crucial to remember that everyone has their own path, their own timeline for growth and evolution. While it is painful to leave behind those you love, it is necessary for your own spiritual growth. The Creator's plan for you is unique, and sometimes the journey requires solitude in order to strengthen your connection to that divine purpose. This leads us to an essential truth. When the Creator calls, it's not a passing thought or a fleeting moment of inspiration. No, it is a powerful and profound invitation that shakes the very foundation of your being. It is a transformative experience that realigns you with your true path, guiding you away from the distractions and detours that have held you captive. This call is not bound by time or space. It is not something you can predict or control. Often, it arrives during moments of crisis, when you face loss, struggle, or feelings of emptiness, as though something is missing from your life. It is in these moments of vulnerability that the Creator's voice calls out to you, urging you to awaken, to rise above the inertia of your past, and to pursue the dreams and goals that lie within your soul. This call can be disruptive, challenging, and even uncomfortable. It pushes you beyond your comfort zone, urging you to grow in ways you never expected. The journey begins with a deep, soul-searching question. What if the life I've been living isn't the life I was meant to lead? What if I'm being called to something greater, something more aligned with my true purpose? It is a force that compels you to reevaluate your beliefs, to shed old patterns, and to embrace a new way of being. Responding to this call can feel like stepping into the unknown, but it is an essential part of your spiritual and personal evolution. Consider, for example, a woman who has spent decades raising her children and building a life focused on family, only to feel a deep and unshakable calling to write a book that inspires others to overcome their own challenges. Or think of someone who, after surviving a serious illness, is driven to make radical changes in their lifestyle, dedicating themselves to health and well-being, and eventually using their experience to help others do the same. These stories are not merely about change, they are about answering the Creator's call, a call that transforms lives in ways beyond imagination. It opens doors to new opportunities and brings a sense of fulfillment that was previously unimaginable. These examples reveal a profound truth. Being called as one of the chosen ones isn't just about changing your life. It's about evolving into the highest version of yourself. It's about stepping into the fullness of your divine purpose and fulfilling the mission for which you were created. It's about realizing that there is a greater plan, one that transcends your current understanding and leads you toward a future filled with meaning and divine connection. In answering this call, you embark on a journey that is deeply personal and uniquely yours. It may feel like a lonely road at times, and you may face obstacles that test your faith. But remember the words from Isaiah 55:8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. The Creator's path for you is higher, clearer, and more purposeful than anything you could have planned for yourself. So, ask yourself, are you ready to answer the call? Are you willing to leave behind the familiar in search of something greater? Are you ready to step into the life you were always meant to live, a life that aligns with your true purpose? The journey may be challenging, but it is also filled with divine purpose, leading you toward a deeper connection with the Creator and a fuller expression of your true self. Will you choose to follow this path, knowing that it will lead you to a destiny greater than anything you've ever dreamed? Many people feel lost or uncertain about how to begin understanding their calling, as it often seems like an intangible or distant concept. The truth is, there is no one-size-fits-all method to discovering your purpose. What truly matters is developing the awareness to see more clearly, both the world around you and the universe within you. It's about tuning into the deeper currents of your life, those moments and feelings that may not immediately make sense, but are crucial signs pointing toward your spiritual calling. You might feel that your soul is nudging you toward something greater. So, how can you recognize these signs? How can you be sure that what you're experiencing is indeed the Creator's invitation to step into a higher calling? These signs may seem simple at first, but they are profoundly meaningful and often impossible to ignore. One of the most common signs is a persistent feeling that something is missing from your life, despite everything appearing in order on the surface. You might have a successful career, a loving family, and material comfort. Yet there's still a deep, unshakable sense that there is more to life than what you're experiencing. This feeling is a subtle whisper from your soul, urging you to seek your true purpose. Perhaps you start feeling drawn to new interests or activities, things that never captured your attention before. It might be a creative passion, a desire to help others, or an interest in a field that once seemed foreign to you. These newfound interests are not coincidental. They are the Creator's way of gently guiding you toward the direction that aligns with your higher purpose. Another sign could be a disconnect between what you do every day and what truly brings you satisfaction. You might realize that you're going through the motions, fulfilling responsibilities and meeting expectations. But deep down, you feel unfulfilled. This growing awareness can be an invitation to reevaluate your life's direction. It's not uncommon for people who are being called to take on a greater role to experience a surge of dissatisfaction with the ordinary, urging them to step out of their comfort zone and move towards something more aligned with their spiritual path. In these moments, the Creator calls you to listen closely to the yearnings of your heart, prompting you to leave behind what no longer serves you. Alongside this, you may begin to notice unexpected opportunities arising in your life, things that seem to align with your deeper desires. It could be a new job, a chance to work on a creative project, or even a change in your environment, each one unfolding like a signpost pointing toward your destiny. These occurrences might seem like coincidences, but they are often part of the divine plan unfolding before you. As these opportunities present themselves, they bring with them a growing sense of urgency, a push to make a change, and a clarity that you didn't have before. Suddenly, everything feels like it is moving in a direction you had once only dreamed about, but now it's tangible, within your reach. The Creator's call may also manifest as a persistent feeling of discomfort or restlessness. What once brought you peace now feels insufficient, and the routines that you've built your life around seem hollow or unsatisfying. It's like an internal misalignment, where the life you're leading no longer resonates with your deepest soul's desires. This discomfort often marks the moment when you are ready to break free from the status quo, to leave behind the comfort zone that has held you captive, and to embrace a path that is truer to your divine calling. In these moments, you might question everything, from your job to your relationships, feeling as though something within you is urging you to change, but not knowing exactly what that change should look like. Another profound sign is a heightened emotional sensitivity or an increase in empathy. This can be one of the clearest indications that you are answering the Creator's call. As your spiritual awareness grows, you begin to feel more deeply connected to the struggles and joys of those around you. You may find yourself more attuned to the needs of others, feeling a deep urge to help, to heal, or to create positive change in the world. This heightened sensitivity is not merely emotional, it is a spiritual awakening that compels you to take action, to offer compassion, and to connect with others in a way that goes beyond the surface. As you progress along this path, you may also experience an increase in synchronicity in your life. Those moments when events, people, or circumstances seem to align perfectly, as though guided by a higher force. These moments of serendipity are not random, they are divine markers along your journey, leading you toward your calling. You might meet people who share your values or beliefs, or encounter pieces of information that seem to answer long-held questions. These coincidences can also take the form of recurring patterns in your dreams or visions that reflect the changes that are coming. In these moments, it's as if the universe is confirming that you are on the right path, guiding you toward your greater purpose. Consider the story of Moses in the Bible, who, despite living a life of comfort and status in Pharaoh's palace, experienced a call from the Creator that shook him to his core. In Exodus 3:4-6, we see Moses encountering the burning bush, a moment of divine synchronicity where he is called to a higher purpose. This call was accompanied by both discomfort and clarity. Moses was unsettled by the magnitude of the task before him, but he could not deny the divine invitation to step into his purpose. Like Moses, you too may feel a pull towards something greater, something that calls you to leave behind your old life and step into the unknown. Are you beginning to recognize these signs in your own life? Have you felt that something is missing, or noticed a stirring within you that demands a change? The Creator's call is often quiet at first, but it grows louder as you become more attuned to it. Will you answer the call, knowing that it will take you on a journey of transformation, growth, and fulfillment? Just as Moses was called to lead a people out of bondage, you too are called to rise up and embrace the purpose for which you were created. The question is, are you ready to step into your divine calling and let the Creator guide you to the life you were always meant to live? Another important sign that you are being called to a higher purpose is a sense of spiritual renewal. It's as though you are being invited to reconnect with your faith in a deeper way, or perhaps to rediscover the spiritual practices that once brought you peace. You may feel a desire to spend more time in prayer, meditation, or searching for teachings that resonate with your inner journey. These longings are not coincidental. They are the signs that your spirit is awakening to something more profound, a divine calling that is drawing you closer to your Creator. Perhaps you are feeling compelled to seek out sacred spaces, or maybe the words of Scripture speak to you in ways they never have before. This is an invitation from the Creator to draw nearer, to strengthen your relationship with Him and find renewed purpose in your faith. Another powerful sign is the feeling of divine protection and guidance. In the midst of life's challenges, you may begin to feel an inner peace that seems to transcend your circumstances. Despite the uncertainty or the obstacles you face, there's an unmistakable sense that things are falling into place, as if you are being led by an invisible hand. This is the comfort of knowing that you are not alone, that there is a higher force watching over you, guiding you through the storms of life. This sense of being guided can manifest as a calm certainty, a quiet assurance that no matter how unclear the path ahead seems, you are on the right journey. Ask yourself, have you ever experienced this sense of spiritual renewal, this peace amid chaos, or the inexplicable feeling that you're being protected and guided towards something greater? These signs are not random. They are the Creator's way of beckoning you to step into a deeper understanding of your life's purpose. Recognizing these moments is crucial, for by acknowledging them, you prepare yourself to respond with faith and clarity when the call grows stronger. It gives you the confidence to embrace the next chapter of your life with trust in God's plan, knowing that He is orchestrating everything according to His will. However, it is vital to remember that not all actions or feelings reflect a true divine calling. There are instances in Scripture that serve as warnings about pursuing paths that seem right, but ultimately lead us astray. Take, for example, the story of King Saul. Saul, driven by his desire to please the people, failed to obey God's command and as a result, lost his favor. The lesson here is clear. Our focus should always be on obeying and honoring God, not on seeking the approval of others. If your actions are motivated by the desire to please people or gain status, you may be veering off the path that God has set for you. The rich young man in the Gospels provides another cautionary tale. He was invited by Jesus to follow him, but he was unwilling to leave behind his material wealth. His attachment to his possessions led him to turn away from the life that Jesus had promised, a life of eternal significance and fulfillment. The pursuit of wealth, status, and comfort can cloud our judgment and divert us from God's greater plan for our lives. In addition, deceptive or harmful behavior has no place in God's plan for your life. Consider the story of Jacob, who deceived his brother Esau to steal his birthright. Such actions, born out of self-interest and manipulation, are not aligned with the integrity and love that God calls us to demonstrate in all our relationships. Whether through dishonesty, harm, or deceit, any behavior that goes against God's command to love and serve others will not lead you toward your true calling. The Creator's invitation to a higher purpose is always rooted in love, respect, and truth. The journey of discovering your calling is not just a physical transformation, but a spiritual one as well. As you walk the path God has set for you, it requires a willingness to leave behind the habits, environments, and mindsets that limit your growth. This spiritual shift is about more than external circumstances. It touches the very essence of who you are, reshaping your heart and your mind to reflect the divine plan that God has for your life. It requires faith, courage, and a willingness to step into the unknown, just as Abraham did when he obeyed God's call to leave his homeland. Abraham didn't know where he was going, but he trusted that God's promise would lead him to a better future. And so too must you trust that your Creator knows the way, even when the journey feels uncertain. Think of the disciples who left their nets behind to follow Jesus. They gave up everything, comfort, security, and familiarity, because they knew that what Jesus was offering them was worth far more than anything they had known. In the same way, you may feel called to leave behind the things that no longer serve your spiritual growth. The Creator may be asking you to surrender your attachments, whether they are to material possessions, unhealthy relationships, or even outdated belief systems. In doing so, you make room for the abundant life that God has promised, a life filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. The path before you may not always be easy, but it is the path that leads to your true destiny. It is the journey that you were created to walk. Are you ready to step into it with faith, knowing that the Creator has already mapped the way for you? Will you trust in His guidance and embrace the transformation that He has set before you, leaving behind all that no longer aligns with the greater purpose He has designed for your life? Just as the disciples were called to follow Jesus, you too are being called to leave behind the old and walk into the new, a life that fully reflects the greatness and goodness of God's plan for you. Will you answer the call? There are 3 essential pillars for reaching new levels of spiritual maturity: prayer, studying the scriptures, and living the teachings of the Bible. Prayer is the foundation for establishing a deep and continuous connection with God, enabling us to communicate with Him and receive guidance. It is through prayer that we align our hearts with the divine will and strengthen our faith. Studying the scriptures, on the other hand, illuminates our understanding, providing us with divine wisdom and insight into how to live in harmony with God's plan. By internalizing these sacred teachings, we are empowered to walk the path of righteousness. However, it is not enough to simply pray or study the Bible. We must also live according to its principles. Putting these teachings into practice is what truly transforms our spiritual lives, shaping our actions and guiding us toward becoming more Christ-like. Through prayer, study, and practice, we grow in spiritual maturity and align ourselves with God's higher purpose. God's invitation to move forward reflects not just a personal calling, but also a profound connection with the ongoing transformation of the planet. Earth is experiencing a vibrational ascension, a shift in frequency that impacts every aspect of life. As the frequency of the planet rises, it resonates with those who are spiritually attuned, accelerating their personal spiritual journeys. This divine invitation to move toward a future of blessings is intertwined with the global ascension process. As the vibrations of the earth refine, so too are we called to elevate our consciousness. The faster we awaken to the divine reality surrounding us, the quicker we contribute to the collective ascension. It is a mutual relationship. Our personal growth accelerates the transformation of the world, and the world's ascension enhances our own. This spiritual awakening is an invitation to reawaken to our true nature as souls incarnate in human form. It challenges old paradigms, urging us to question everything we thought we knew about the world and our place in it. The journey God has laid before us is not merely a physical transition, but a deep exploration of our essence. When we answer this call, we reconnect with our hearts, realizing that our lives are part of a greater divine plan, one that aligns with our higher selves and the source of all creation. We are invited to shed the layers of illusion that obscure our true nature and embrace the profound reality of who we are in God's eyes. As we begin to answer this call, the process of spiritual ascension often requires us to let go of old habits, limiting beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve our divine purpose. This transformation is not only personal, but has a global impact. Just as raising the frequency of the planet helps restore balance to the earth, our individual spiritual upliftment contributes to a new beginning for both ourselves and the world. The process may be challenging, and at times it may feel isolating, but it is necessary for spiritual growth. As we embrace change with unwavering faith, we contribute to the creation of a new reality, one where the earth and its inhabitants vibrate at a higher, more harmonious frequency. The first step in this awakening is questioning reality. As we begin to expand our consciousness, we recognize that the world around us is not just what we see with our physical eyes. We begin to question the narratives presented to us by society, the media, and even our own families. This opens the door to a deeper search for answers about our true purpose and the meaning of life. As we explore spiritual teachings, we realize that science and spirituality are not opposing forces, but complementary aspects of the same truth. Books, courses, and other sources of knowledge provide us with the tools to unlock the mysteries of our existence and to understand the divine purpose for which we were created. As we ascend spiritually, our perspective shifts and we begin to see the world through a new lens. This transformation often leads to a distancing from those who do not share the same vibrational frequency, and new connections are formed with individuals who are on a similar path. As our awareness deepens, we also begin to see how our reality has been manipulated and controlled. Liberation, we learn, begins with the individual. As we free ourselves from limiting beliefs and false perceptions, we feel a calling to share our knowledge and serve others. This service is not driven by a desire for recognition or reward, but by a deep, heartfelt urge to guide others toward their own awakening. The heart opens, and with it comes a deeper understanding, a greater capacity to manifest our highest potential and create a reality that aligns with God's will. The awakening of the heart center, which connects us to the spiritual realm, brings with it a host of internal changes. These shifts are reflected in the way we experience the world. An open heart, filled with divine light, enhances our intuition and sharpens our spiritual vision. As Wayne Dyer so wisely said, "You are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience." This profound truth reminds us that we are always in the process of ascension, from the moment we take our first breath to the moment we return to the source. Each step we take on this journey, with all its challenges, growth and learning, is a natural progression toward spiritual maturity. Yet many people choose to ignore this divine mission, remaining trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. We are all called to ascend, but it is up to each of us to respond to that call. We are all born into a world that is full of challenges, a world designed to test our strength and our faith. If you've ever wondered about the purpose of life, the answer is simple. It is to learn, grow, and ultimately find joy in aligning with God's purpose. Unfortunately, many remain trapped in the system known as the Matrix, a system that stifles spiritual growth and causes unnecessary suffering. But when we take the first step out of this system, we begin our true ascension. Breaking free from the Matrix is liberating, though the initial steps may feel confusing or overwhelming. As we awaken, we begin to see the world for what it truly is. And this insight propels us from the third dimension of limited perception into the fifth dimension of higher consciousness. Are you ready to awaken to this truth? To break free from the confines of the old system and embrace the divine plan that has always been there, waiting for you to discover it? The path of ascension is not without its trials, but it is the only path that leads to true peace, joy, and fulfillment. Will you walk it with faith and courage, knowing that God has already prepared the way for you? The choice is yours. The third dimension is a realm where challenges and moral tests are frequent, allowing souls to prove their worth and refine their character. It is a stage where the dualities of good and evil are vividly felt, and every soul faces a series of decisions that define its journey toward ascension. Upon reaching the fifth dimension, a shift occurs, a divine regeneration, where the old limitations and fears of the third dimension no longer hold sway. Love and empathy take center stage as these higher vibrations transform the way we interact with the world. The move to the fifth dimension signifies a spiritual elevation, where goodness, harmony, and compassion are the guiding forces. As we progress spiritually, we understand that God's call is not a one-size-fits-all directive. Each person has a unique path to follow, and God calls us to different purposes at different times. Sometimes His call is to begin something new, whether it's a relationship, a job, a ministry, or even a geographical move. Other times, God asks us to stop or leave something behind, trusting that His plans are for our ultimate good. At times, His call may be to stay exactly where we are, growing and learning in the environment we are currently in. It's important to recognize that God's guidance often comes through various signs, circumstances, or even other people. If you are unsure of His direction, pray for clarity and trust that God will confirm His will for you. He does not wish for you to live in confusion. He delights in guiding those who seek Him with an open and obedient heart. And when you receive clarity on God's will, act without hesitation. Delayed obedience can delay blessings. This principle has been a profound lesson in my own life. When God calls, the sooner we respond, the quicker we experience His guidance and His blessings in our lives. To better understand how this process of divine calling and preparation works, let's look at three powerful biblical examples. Abraham and the call to leave. When God called Abraham to leave his homeland, Abraham had no idea where he was going. God simply told him to go, and Abraham trusted Him enough to step into the unknown. His faith and obedience marked the beginning of a journey that not only brought immense blessings to him and his descendants, but ultimately paved the way for God's covenant with humanity. Abraham's immediate response to God's call set a powerful example of trust and obedience, showing that sometimes God asks us to leave what is familiar to embrace His greater plan. Moses and the call to deliver. Moses was called by God to deliver the Israelites from the bondage of slavery in Egypt. Initially, Moses was hesitant, feeling unworthy and full of doubts about his ability to carry out such a monumental task. Yet, God's call was clear, and after much preparation, especially in the wilderness, Moses was ready to step into his role as the leader of God's people. His story is a reminder that God often prepares us for His call through experiences, trials, and moments of growth. Obeying God's call may require us to face our fears, but it is through this obedience that we become vessels of His power and purpose. Jonah and the call to preach. Jonah's story is a poignant reminder of the importance of responding to God's call without delay. God commanded Jonah to go to the city of Nineveh and preach repentance, but Jonah initially ran away, reluctant to fulfill this divine mission. His disobedience led to a series of events that delayed the fulfillment of God's plan. However, when Jonah finally obeyed, the people of Nineveh repented, and God spared the city from destruction. Jonah's story teaches us that resisting God's call can lead to delays, but when we choose obedience, we can be instruments in the fulfillment of His will. These three examples highlight a profound truth. God's call often requires us to trust in His plan, even when we don't fully understand it. Just like Abraham, Moses, and Jonah, we may face challenges, doubts, and uncertainties, but God's purpose is always greater than our own. The sooner we answer His call, the sooner His blessings, wisdom, and guidance flow into our lives, not only transforming us, but also those around us. So, my dear friends, don't lean on your own understanding alone. Always remember that God is at work in ways beyond our comprehension, and at just the right time, He will open your eyes and ears to His divine purposes and plans. When we speak of God's call, we must approach it with reverence and care. God invites each of us, His chosen ones, to know Him and to live for His glory. However, the manner in which He reveals Himself to each person is unique. He determines the time, place, and method through which He communicates His will. This is why it's crucial to remain vigilant, attentive to His whispers and guidance. Facing challenges is an inevitable part of answering God's call, but understanding and overcoming these obstacles is essential to your spiritual growth. One of the most common struggles is the fear of the unknown. When God leads us into uncharted territory, it's natural to feel apprehensive. But in those moments, remember that His guidance is with you every step of the way. Overcome that fear by focusing on the faith that has already brought you this far. trusting that the divine plan ahead of you is far greater than anything you could imagine. Another challenge can be the resistance from those around you. Others may not understand or support the new path God is leading you on. They may express doubts or try to pull you back into your comfort zone. Stand firm in your convictions, knowing that not everyone is meant to walk with you on this journey. Seek the counsel and support of those who share your faith and values, and trust that God will provide you with the strength and clarity you need. If you've reached this point, it's clear that God is calling you, but the real question is, how will you respond? His call resonates deep within your soul, stirring your heart with every beat and every breath. God is knocking at the door of your heart, extending an invitation for you to partake in something greater and transformative. Will you accept? Perhaps you found yourself in moments of doubt, thinking, Lord, choose someone else for this task. If so, you are not alone. Moses, too, faced such doubts. When God called him from the burning bush in the book of Exodus, Moses hesitated, feeling inadequate. Lord, please send someone else, he pleaded. How many times have we all felt the same way, confident in our abilities until God calls us to step out of our comfort zone? Today, I invite you to reflect on God's call in your life. Are you ready to respond, no matter the challenges or uncertainties that may arise? This is the moment to decide whether you will accept His invitation and allow Him to lead you every step of the way. Responding to God's call is not just about saying yes, it's about demonstrating faith and courage. And rest assured, He will be with you, guiding you toward the purpose He has specifically prepared for you. Doubt may also stand in your way, making you question your worthiness or abilities to fulfill this divine calling. Confront these doubts by remembering your past triumphs and the unique gifts God has endowed you with. A positive mindset and affirming your own strength will help you stay focused on the mission ahead. It's natural to feel confused during this time, but embracing your calling means realizing that you have the power to shape your own life's path. Overcoming the fear of the unknown and conquering obstacles is necessary to manifest your dreams and purpose. Without action, your visions will remain nothing more than ideas in your mind, like building a house without laying a single brick. Answering God's call may not be easy, but it happens when we embrace active faith and follow the guidance of our hearts. What is your true purpose in life? The call to fulfill your purpose is the moment to face reality and discover your truth. The answer lies within you. Take time to listen and let your passion guide your thoughts and actions. Once you discover your true calling, you'll be ready to take action and pursue your goals. As we reflect on all of this, ask yourself, are you prepared to answer God's call? Can you identify the signs in your life that point to this new chapter? Embrace this time of transformation, stepping boldly into the future He has prepared for you. Your journey is just beginning, and with faith, courage, and determination, you will discover the deeper purpose and fulfillment God has waiting for you. As one of the chosen ones, may God bless you with a life of meaning, passion, and fulfillment in His name.